Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacy if you're new here, and today's video is going to be my May books recap. And I read 4 books this month. So the first 3 books that I read were part of a trilogy, the Last Hours trilogy by Cassandra Clare. If you saw my last month's recap, I finished up Infernal Devices, and so I moved on to the Last Hours, which is next chronologically in all of the Shadowhunters books. So it was Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, and Chain of Thorns, and I forgot how much I love those 2 series, the Infernal Devices and the Last Hours. They're just so much fun, and this was the only, Chain of Thorns was this the only time I read this one 2 times only. The other ones I read at least 3 times. Not sure exactly how many I read them, because all of the Shadowhunters books I had reread kind of multiple times throughout all of my 20s. I mostly only read that series because I would read, I don't know, a singular page, like Kindle page, e-reader page, a night before I fell asleep, and I would probably read like maximum 6 books a year. And then I really got back into reading in 2024, and so this is where I've picked up a lot. So I don't know how many times I've reread any of the Shadowhunters books. I just know that Chain of Thorns, this is the second time I read it. I think in 2024 I read it for the first time. And I had it since it came out in like 2023, I believe it was. I really love that story. I like the time frame, the era of when the story takes place and all of that. So the Last Hour series is about the children of the main characters from the Infernal Devices. So Will and Tessa's children, Cicely and Gideon's children, Gabriel and Cicely, and Sophie and Gideon, and Charlotte and Henry's children. All of those, they were all like the main characters for the Infernal Devices. It's literally about Tessa's dad. So then the main character, James, his grandfather, essentially trying to possess him, or convince James to be possessed, to take over London and then probably the world. But yeah, so that series is a lot of fun. It was just interesting to see like the time piece of it. I mean, it was set in the early 1900s where women still didn't have any like rights, if you will. They were considered an extension of their husband. However, in the Shadowhunter world, they did have some, but a lot of the old-fashioned traditions that they had then, like women couldn't really live in their house without their husband, that kind of thing. They couldn't even own a house, pretty much. So yeah, that is that series, and it was really fun to read. The other book that I read was Til Summer Do Us Part by Meghan Quinn, and this one was a fake dating romance book. And it was really fun to read. It was an easy read. Most romance are. And that's what I needed in between. And now the current book I am reading is No Place to Be Single by Felicia Kingsley. And it, I think, is originally in a different language. So it's translated. And it has an audiobook with it. So on Kindle Unlimited, and it's an included Audible book with Kindle Unlimited. So it's nice to immersive read while I read it, because it's also free, kind of. So yeah, that's fun. And then I don't really have too many plans for what books I want to read. I think I want to read that book, one more romance before hopping into the Mortal Instruments books, because that series is like 6 books. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing for the rest of those books yet. I have a handful of romance books that I want to read first, so I might knock those out depending on library holds, etc., that kind of thing, and then hop into the Mortal Instruments. I may not get to them until July, so We'll see. So yeah, I don't really have a ton to yap about the books I read this month and the ones that I want to read next month because I don't have a solid plan. So yeah, this is gonna be a super short video. All right, so I'm gonna conclude this video here. I know it was like super fast, super quick, but if you would like to work with me and plan your dream vacation, I will have all that information linked in the description box below. And check out my other channel. It is about all things travel, all of my vlogs, all of my travel tips, and subscribe to this one if you haven't already. And I post tons of lifestyle vlogs, my fitness journey, book reviews, monthly book recaps, and yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.